Hello, hello. Let me get this kind of fixed-ish. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I'm using a new microphone, and hopefully it's working. Let me know if you can hear me, and is it too loud or too quiet? I'm just trying something different. And for some reason, like slow mode is super on tonight. So if you notice the Beaterbox Garage, that's my other channel. It's actually the screen that's up over here. Chatting in the StreamYard and watching it come through, it's actually a pretty big delay. Metalheads, good to see you. Matt, good to see you. Chevy Fish. Jupiter One was the first one here. Good to see everybody on this Sunday night. So I was just doing some laundry earlier and cleaning the house when I thought I want to go live today. So that's what we're doing. We're going live. I figure I just hang out with you guys for a bit. I don't know how long, if it's going to be 20 minutes or an hour or what, but for a little bit. Lady Melhead, good to see you. All right. So Chevy Fish was saying that her her crayfish had babies on Friday. And I asked what those were because I had thought about getting some, and the local wholesaler sells blue ones, white ones, and then I know there's different kinds as far as like dwarf CPOs and stuff like that. So I was just curious what you have there, Chevy. What's new with me? I did find some babies in the fish room this week. I was not cleaning out. I had somebody local, and by somebody local was actually the guy I bought these breeder brilliant bristlenose pluckos off a couple years ago. The old president of our cafe fish club bought, I forget how many, like 8-ish of my orange laser quarries. I think I have like 2 left. Well, anyways, he bought 8 of them. And he bought a bunch of my glow light tetras. Anyways, when I was catching out the orange lasers, I found some babies. So the orange lasers were breeding. There's just a bunch of Christmas moss in that tank. And I found at least 5. I counted 5 for sure babies in that tank. So I was kind of excited about that I bred some orange lasers. They're still pretty small. So right away, immediately, like there's one that's a little bit bigger than the other. He's kind of running away on the size. He might possibly have, I just noticed the camera moved on the rainbow tank. Anybody else see that? That was kind of weird. So, and that's out in my family room. So maybe it's a dog hit it, but, anyways, I'm distracted now. Squirrel by the camera that was moving. So yeah, found baby orange laser quarries, and when they're real small, I couldn't tell what they were. They looked like, to be honest, when the first ones I saw, maybe like a 1/4 inch or so long, they looked like salt and pepper quarries, or maybe pygmy habrosus quarries is kind of what they look like. But the one that's a little bit bigger, it's putting on more size, looks like he's starting to get the orange laser through them. So I'm kind of curious to see how they grow, and I'm just thinking I should probably go take some pictures of them and basically do some notes, and that way I can do like a video, like a species spotlight breeding. That way I can show like my water parameters and how the tank's set up. The tank is a sponge filter and Christmas moss. That's all that's in that tank. There's no other plants. It's the tank that had some Vienna guppies before I moved the Vienna guppies over here. There's still actually a couple like Vienna guppies in there, but other than that, it was just Christmas moss in that tank. So it was something I didn't notice any eggs, so they must have put the eggs in the Christmas moss. But it was cool to see 5 orange lasers in there. So yeah, that was a cool surprise. This tank, it probably looks like crap, but it's doing really, really well. I know on my last live stream, I mentioned how well it was doing, and there's just baby brilliant bristlenose plecos everywhere. So I'm not touching it. I'm doing water changes every few weeks. Other than that, I'm letting the algae go. I haven't scraped the tank. I'm sure it kind of looks hazy. the acrylic's actually got like a layer of algae on it, and I'm not scraping it. And there's actually, you won't be able to see it, but right where my finger's at, that's a baby brilliant bristlenose, and there's a couple I see in the back. I don't know if I swap. Let me swap this right here. Can you see that? So it looks like the tip of this leaf. This leaf is actually like far away, but that is a brilliant bristlenose pleco baby right there. But yeah, so that tank's doing really well. It looks like crap. It's full of algae. It's the it's the, it's definitely the worst looking tank I have in my house. The second worst looking tank is the one that's the rainbow tank right now. It got covered in algae because that had the puffer fish in it. You can see on the bottom all the white looking rock stuff. Those are ram's horn snail shells. I leave them in there because they kind of dissolve into the water column and add the hardness back into the water. So, I mean, I could take them out, but I just leave them. They kind of dissolve out. I did put some ram's horns in here. You can see them on the glass. They are keeping the glass clean. The back, the right in the center, it's fake wood. It's this flue ball tank. It's made to look like wood. It's just vinyl sticker or whatever. There's still that real brownish algae on that, so they're slowly working at it. You can see that it's very thin in the middle. I really probably should scrape it, but I've learned to let the tanks go, and everything's more happy. This tank does have a mono shrimp in it, and I don't see any right now. They like to hide in that rock cave thing. Something interesting, if you don't know, that rock is concrete, and I actually made that out of styrofoam. So what you're seeing where those rainbows are kind of hanging out, that was styrofoam blocks I kind of carved out, and then I covered it in concrete to make, I guess, my own decoration or cave. Just something I was playing with when I made my wall in my 75-gallon tank. But yeah, so I'm just kind of looking. It's hard to see. The quality on the secondary cameras are really bad. There is new growth in this tank. I haven't added a fertilizer or anything to it. I probably should. The Java fern, there's a couple dead leaves. I always typically leave dead leaves in the tank. I heard the dog chewing on something. I usually leave the dead leaves in the tank because as they die, it helps feed the plant new growth. If you look kind of right in the center of the tank, the real bright green stuff, that's all new growth. So I can see right in the middle, there's a piece of Anubias that must have broke off. I only have one Anubias plant in that tank, which is right in the center, like underneath the fake wood wall. That fake wood wall, that's actually a compartment. It's got the filter, the pump, and the heater in it. The pump's not running, and the heater's off. So that's just room temperature is what I'm keeping these rainbows at. These rainbows, I'm sure somebody's going to ask. I haven't read the chat. These rainbows are mixed. So these are fry that one way or another ended up in the sump of my fish racks, between the fish room and then my fry grow out rack. Because they ended up in the sump, I didn't know what they were. So they kind of became a catch-all into this tank. So there are different ones in there. I can physically see there's some different ones. I saw Mike was in here. Mike could probably point out what they are. A couple of them have a real dark lateral stripe. And then the other ones that kind of have more of a square jaw. I don't know what they are, to be honest. So that's why they're in this tank. But I just wanted, this tank was empty after I sold the puffer fish. There was nothing in this tank. So the tank was just sitting there. I'm like, let me put something in there. And plants like having fish for their waste. So yeah, they're in there. But I want to hop into the chat. I got two different chat screens. I'm going to read it over here. It is Sunday fun day. I don't know if it's really fun. It's just cleaning today, doing laundry and water changes in the fish room, checking on the baby lasers. But yeah, I am having a drink tonight. This is my first one, so keeping it calm. But microphone, I'm using the Rode Wireless Go 2. So for my other channel, the automotive channel, which somebody linked, I think Chevy Fish linked it. It's the Beater Box Garage channel. I bought it for that channel. So when I'm out working in the garage, I might because I've been using my GoPro a lot to make videos. So this channel, I always use my cell phone to make videos. Super easy to control. The automotive stuff, I'm using the GoPro because I just mount the GoPro to wherever I'm working and just let it record on wide angle. But so I'm using the microphone. One of the things they advertise is you can plug in your computer, which I have the receiver plugged in the computer. I'm just testing on here. Another reason I kind of, I guess, justified it to myself, if you will, is if you guys, all you guys are in here have been around forever. You guys are huge supporters of my channel. You guys know that once in a while I have these issues with my cell phone's microphone, and it started with recording. I went, this is my phone case. I went to grab it, but my phone's actually recording this rainbows. So I don't have my phone with me. If I record, I had to make sure I flip my phone to silent mode, or the microphone does this weird thing for the first 10 seconds. There's like no audio. So like when you go do an intro, like, hey, I'm Steven, this is the video, you don't hear it until after like 10 seconds, and it starts ramping itself up. I read somewhere it's because it's got stereo microphones. So it's got two microphones to record left and right, which is great for audio, but it does like this weird compensating thing. Like when it first starts recording, I don't know. But if you flip the switch for silent, it turns that off, which is the fix, unless you like forget to do it. Well, anyways, when I do my live streams from YouTube mobile, which is nice because then I can walk around the house and show you guys fish tanks and, whatever, go sit on the couch with the dogs. For whatever reason, the microphone like either stopped working or was having really big issues. And what I was having to do for the last few mobile live streams were wear my headphones because it's got a microphone. And as soon as you plug in the headphones, the iPhone headphones, it switches to that microphone. It stops using the phone's microphone, uses the headphones. And that was the fix for that. Well, this Wireless Go works with iPhones. And you get this little adapter cable, which I don't even know what I did with it. It's sitting around here somewhere, and allows you plug in the receiver, which I don't know if this is in camera. This is the receiver. So you put this, like if you had a camera or whatever, right now it's plugged in the computer. This is what the microphones send their signal to. Anyways, I know this is getting long-winded. That plugs into your cell phone, then you can be mic'd. I don't know if you guys can see the mic. Here's the microphone. It's wireless, this little box. The cable I have adapts it to the iPhone. The cable I have is from Amazon, and it didn't work. And I was reading some reviews, and because it was highly rated, but there were some reviews that said it's hit or miss if it works with the iPhone. You need the Rode, which is the brand of these microphones. You need their branded cable for sure to work. It's like a quality issue with these like real cheap, like $5 cables on Amazon. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Well, I didn't know that. And I actually had the cable before I bought these because I was trying to use a lavalier mic, which is like when you have the little wire and then the little microphone that clips up here. I tried it with that. There's one other thing I can try because this does have two microphones. And this was the other reason I bought it, because I want to do some interviews on my car channel of some local guys that road race, which is what I used to do and what I want to get back into, where you road race on a track. I want to do some like interviews with people that have been doing it for a long time or did car builds, and think of it like, I guess, fish wise, think if I was interviewing one of you guys, I want to be able to mic myself and then mic the person. So let's just say I'm interviewing Chevy Fish. I can put a microphone on her. I have a microphone. I can do the interview. Chevy Fish, how long have you been in the hobby? And I want to be able to record both of those, especially with my cell phone, because that's my primary video camera. And, trying to make that thing work with good audio. I spent the money. Basically, I got my tax return. This is what I bought myself. So I splurged a little bit. It was kind of expensive. I think it was $300 for the kit, which is the two microphones and the receiver. You can, if anybody's interested in this stuff, you can get the Wireless Go, which is just one of these. It's one microphone, one receiver. I think it's $200. So for the extra 100, you get a second mic. And when I'm not using it as an interview where I have two people mic'd, I can use one mic. If the battery happens to die, I have the second one I can turn on and keep going. But I believe If I remember reading right, they say the runtime's like 8 hours, so I'm never going to kill one of these. Uh, I guess the big thing would be like if you were maybe doing a tour of a warehouse, like let's say you went to, I have no idea, name some aquatics company, Tetra Fish Foods. You went to their warehouse or manufacturing facility and you're recording them making fish food. Maybe you get there at 8 a.m. and you start mic'd up that morning at 6, leaving your hotel or something. By the time you get done, maybe your microphone dies. You can switch it. I don't know. I'm just blabbing here, guys. So sorry, but that's what's kind of new. So between the microphones, just testing it out. I'll do another live once I get the Rode adapter. I ordered it through Best Buy. Amazon didn't have it in stock. They had it listed through a third party seller. I don't like buying like third party sellers. I have before without issues, but it's just like one of those things where I like to buy Prime or at least like fulfilled by Amazon stuff. This was like sold and fulfilled by some other company, and like who knows how long it will take to get here. Best Buy had it available. It was pick up in store on Thursday or have it shipped to my house on Thursday. So I just had it shipped to my house. So I'll have the cable Thursday. So maybe next weekend I'll go live mobile and then we can go out into the fish room. And I can show you guys what the fish room looks like. I've broken down. I was gonna say 2 tanks. Technically, there's 2 tanks that don't have fish anymore. One's completely empty. It's a 20 long, completely no fish. The second tank is a 29. I'm trying to think what fish were in there that I sold out of. What was in the tank? I think it might have been like the Paleatus or Palatus, the Paleatus Quarries and Odessa barbs, but I still have 2 Odessa barbs left. I think I pulled them off the website. I don't know if they're still on the website, but they might be off because I only have 2 left. Maybe they're still on the website. That's another thing I want to mention to you guys about the website here in a minute. So if I don't tell you, remind me to talk about the website because it's going to change a little bit. I don't remember what was in the tank, but basically the fish were out of the tank. There's no fish left. There was ram's horns. I couldn't capture all the ram's horns out, so I basically did is I lowered the level to like this deep. There's this much water in that tank, and there's just snails in it. And I dropped a ONIP tab in it, and I still love the ONIP tabs. I got a couple boxes down there. Do I have one sitting out? I don't have one sitting out. I'm feeding this tank some algae wafers, and this was a mistake on eBay. So I sell on eBay and on my website. These algae wafers got mismarked on the website. These are 0.7 ounces. And this is like their new packaging. Their old packaging was like, I forget what it was. Let's say like 1 ounce or something. Either way, somebody ordered something that was actually more than what this is. So I ended up giving them a big bag, which let's say it's like 3 ounces. I doubled their order because if you order something and then it comes in smaller, like you got ripped off. So I gave them the bigger bag. I pulled this from eBay. I only had one left anyways. I don't want to make a whole new listing for this like random size. So I just been using this is just the Hikari algae wafers. I've been using it in this tank, and the Vienna guppies are eating it. So I put it in for the pluckos, but the Vienna guppies tear it up. So they like it. I really do like Hikari foods. Hikari has always been a really good seller of mine. The thing about Hikari foods, and I can say this about, I think the only other packaging that I like that's similar is not even similar, but Sarah Foods. I think Hikari hands down has the best packaging of food. It's very eye catching. It's to the point. If I had a store, I would just be selling Hikari Foods because it grabs your eye. It is a really good food. I really do like Hikari Foods. I've always said I've liked Hikari Foods, but it's a big seller because it's very good packaging. My favorite foods are Northfin and Sarah. Out of those 2, Northfin and Sarah are like dead tied for first place. Hikari is my second favorite food. Tied with Hikari for second is the Tetracolor granules. Everybody knows this from Lucas Brett's, and he always swore by it, and it's true. This is a really good food. This is what I feed all my tanks because it's cheap. It's a good food, but it's cheap, and that's what makes it really good. I buy this by the case for personal use. I used to sell it on the website. I don't even know if I sell this on the website anymore, but I use it for myself because you get a jar of it, and I feed it to everything. Plecos eat it, Quarries eat it, guppies eat it, rainbows eat it, shrimp eat it. Everything eats it. Everything, literally everything eats it. That's why I like it, and it's cheap. I need to, if I could buy it by the barrel, I would, because I buy this case of these, or I think it's 12 to a case, and I go through that. Like I go through probably a jar of this once a week. So I use this in all the auto feeders. And what I like about it is like for we have a guest. Come here. You see me doing hand signals, you know who it is. It's Charlotte. So Charlotte's here to visit. She doesn't know, but she's live. And Havana is somewhere. Havana was in here earlier when I heard something. Holy crap. Oh, she's smelling the mic. You guys might have got blasted. I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me switch this. Oh, you guys can't see it. Where my finger's at, I don't know. You probably can't see it. That's one of the baby bristlenose, but that's the biggest one for sure. Like, holy cow, how big is he? He's a full knuckle, guys. But that's definitely the biggest one out of all the ones I've seen. There's a baby here. He's definitely twice the size of this one. If you can see this one, this guy down here is, that guy there is twice the size for sure. Right now, as far as the brilliant bristlenose, I'm squirreling. I'm sorry, but I'm excited. There's 3 right here in the front that I can see right now. There's 1 down here, 2, and 3. How much room? Hold on, guys. I'm going to go get my cell phone. That way I can show you. I'm still mic'd. Hope this will be a good test. Let me know if I'll keep talking. Let me know if you can still hear me when I walk away. Still mic'd. I should be still mic'd. I'm going to grab my cell phone. You probably can hear the water running. Grabbing this. I was going to see if I can see any of the Amano shrimp. Actually, I don't see any. Oh, there's one. This screen is so small. I don't know if you guys can see that. He's down here in the corner. There's, I think, 7 in here, which kind of makes me nervous that I only see 1. Normally, they're all over the place. Oh, there's 2 over here. I'm rotating. I don't know. My screen on this is super tiny, but there's 2 of them. I don't know if you guys can see them right there. Right there. All right, but we're going to walk back to my office. Hopefully you guys still hear me. I don't know. I can't see the chat. I'm going to set that down. I want to hop back in the chat and make sure you guys can still hear me. Wrong chat. Oh, Charlotte's coming back up. I don't know. The chat is so slow on my computer for whatever reason. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I see some squirrels. I don't know. I see Chevy Fish said yep, so I don't know if that's the you can hear me or what, but hopefully you guys can hear me. Anyways, hang on guys. Let me give you the bigger screen. This is weird because I'm doing it with a delay. Where is my camera? Okay, so there's one baby, right? I know, algae everywhere. Look at the back glass, the back panel, all that green algae. That was blackbeard algae. Now it's all green, and it's really, really short. It looks like shit on here. Like camera quality wise, makes it look even worse. But like in person, it looks like a Gulf green. It's very small. But anyways, so there's one of the babies. I think. Yep, right there. I'm gonna try to get you down to the bigger guy without. Where is he? There he is. I don't know if you guys can see him. He's like right in a shadow, right in the middle of the screen. It's a bigger one. Where'd the other guy go? The other one was down here. I don't know where he went. And Charlotte is all up in me. don't know. There's a couple babies over here. There's the super red, and there's one on the glass. I don't know if you can see him. I can't tell what I'm showing on this. Yeah, he's very pale, so it's hard to see. Oh, there's another one down in the corner. Yeah. I was trying to see if there's any more of the babies out. It's like Where's Waldo? It's actually a ton of fun. Oh, there's another baby behind the leaves. It's impossible to use this phone to see stuff on here. Yeah, I'm gonna put that down. I'm gonna put that down there. All right. So, anyways, tons of babies in there. It's awesome. It's so much fun. And I have a Charlotte. And I hear myself. What am I hearing myself through? Is it the phone? Must be my phone. Anyways, sorry guys. Squirrel. I had the volume on that turned off and I can still hear myself. All right, I'm gonna get in the chat and go back up to the top and see. Mike said, "Oh wait, I can do the highlight thing. Let me go up here and highlight stuff as I go. And that way, you know where I'm at. Makes sense, right?" I'm actually looking forward to listening to my own replay so that way I see how this mic's doing. Normally, the microphone is set to auto adjust, and it shows like a little sound bar of like how loud you are. And normally I leave it on auto, but with on auto, it showed it very like quiet. So I jumped up the volume. So if like scale 1 to 10, if 10's like too loud and 1 is too quiet, where do you think my volume is? I'm talking like normal indoor voice. So I need to talk quieter, let me know. If I need to talk louder, let me know. Can I change that on the fly? I'm gonna try to change it to automatic. Okay, it should be on automatic now. Starting now. Let me know if it sounds any different, if it's better or worse. And type like it's like automatic is worse or better. So that way, by the time I see the chat, I'll know what you guys are talking about. Okay. Sorry, Charlotte is sniffing stuff. Okay, here we go. Mike said, I told Paul you had some stuff. Yeah, so Paul, the funny thing is, Paul reached out to me and I didn't realize his last name because on like Facebook or whatever, it's not his whole last name. So I didn't realize who it was until he showed up to my house. I was like, oh, I'm like, hey, Paul. And I talked to him about the brilliant bristle nose because, you know, if you guys know, like the first year I had him, I had like 3 babies, or the first 2 years I had 3 babies. All of a sudden there's I don't know, there's a dozen. There's like 8 babies at least in there now. And that was all like in the last few months. So it's like the first year I didn't know what was going on, like trying to figure out. It's like I was texting them, like, what were you feeding them? Blah, blah, blah. And he said basically the same thing I was getting, where it was like the random babies would show up randomly, not like pulling clutches of eggs like you would with a common pleco or a common bristle nose or a common pleco. I'm sure it does the same thing. Anyways, but I told him, I was like, yeah, like I just stopped cleaning the tank. I just do wire changes and I don't scrape algae. And I just, I got 2 lights on there. That was, I think the biggest thing was I went from the Stingray to the Fluval 3.0. That 3.0 that's on there was one of the ones that had steel power supply. And then you couldn't get a new power supply. They sold them. They were like, I think like $60 or something. I forget, but no one had them. I couldn't get a replacement power supply. So I figured out the specs for that, and I found a power supply that worked, and I've been using it ever since as a test dummy. I've had that for like a year now, so I'm pretty confident it's good. I test everything for as long as possible before I try to sell it to anybody, and I've been using this power supply for a year now. It's not made for aquariums; it's made for something else. It's actually made for computers and electronic stuff, but not like lights, whatever. It had the correct amps and voltage that I needed and the correct size. Those stupid round connectors, like laptops, think of a laptop connector. There's all different sizes, which I wish they just made them all universal. Like, and it would have been way easier. But I had to measure the outside diameter, the thickness of that plug, and then the inside diameter. And I had to get that right, and luckily I did. But anyways, squirrel. I had the second light, and it runs. It's on right now. It's not on super powerful, but having two lights, a Phoenix Stingray and then the Fluval 3.0, made the algae just go crazy. I think having all that algae is just a ton of food source for everything. It makes the guppies happy because I think with all that algae, there's a bunch of the micronutrients and like seed shrimp and stuff like that going gangbusters. So it's feeding the fish, and the fish are happy, and it's just very good system right now. It looks horrible, but it's just doing really well, and I've got a ton of babies from it. The Vienna guppies have slowed down. I'm definitely male heavy. Somebody ordered a Vienna pair this week, and I sent them a pair. One male, one female. I sent them a trio. I just sent them an extra Vienna male because I got too many of them, and I don't want too many males because it'll stress out the females. Um, I did call some males and females. I put them out in the fish room with like the 50 female guppies that were like different strains out there. So I'm interested to see what those end up turning into if they start putting out nice Vienna guppies too. But this is like, I guess if you call it pure line, that's what this tank is. Metalhead said the plants are definitely taking off next year. Yeah. So to be honest, I just started fertilizing this tank again. So I was fertilizing it, and then I stopped for like months and months and months, and I started again, and it's not labeled, but it's the 614 root tabs. I don't know where the camera's. The root tabs. So that really has caused everything to start growing good. So I started using those probably about a month ago. I need to probably add more. My goal is probably once a month to add root tabs. I didn't go crazy. I did like one per plant. To really get it go, I should probably, these plants are pretty hefty in the center. I should probably be doing maybe 4 to 6 inch grid squares. But I just did one per plant, used tweezers. And then with any root tab that are the gel capsules, they dissolve in water. But when they're made, air gets into them. I got this little pick thing from Harbor Freight. It comes as a set. It reminds me of dental picks, right? But I use this for automotive, for like O-rings and stuff on parts. Well, anyways, I got one, and I poke holes in the root tabs. Some of them don't really have much air in them, and they'll be fine. But some of them like get like an air pocket, and sometimes, at least with the fine sand, they'll want to come up through the sand. If you poke a hole in it, when I put them in the water, I give them like a little squeeze. You'll see like an air bubble come out, and then they're fine. But poking a hole in root tabs helps them stay where they need to be. Promoting his wood. I don't. This was, oh my gosh, almost a half an hour ago. I don't even know what I was talking about. Mr. Moto Reptile, good to see you. Jack Fish, good to see you. I'll keep moving down. Garcia Aquatics, good to see you. I know I'm way behind, guys. I'm going to try to catch up. Jupiter One, my son's flower horn passed this morning. I'm sorry to hear that. They were roommates for many years. Any recommendations where I can order a new fish friend with some size? As far as flower horns, to be honest, the only person I know is JR Noling, I think. I think it's JR Noling. It's like JR flower horns. J4. I said JR. J4 flower horns. But I know that he does really nice ones, so they're probably expensive. Is what I mean by really nice ones. It's J. I'll put the website in the chat. I know I'm way behind. It's actually going to be my second channel because that's just what I just clicked on. But, I don't think can my second channel even post links? I don't know if they can post links. Let me give it through there. j4flowerhorns.com. I don't know if they have big ones or if they have Wow, he's got some good prices on Stingrays. $249. A golden base. I don't know anything about flower horns. Golden base flower horn, a male is $99. I'm sure. Here's a super red dragon male for $59. 59 $49 for super red dragon. Crystal parrot cichlid actually looks pretty freaking sweet. Oh my gosh. I need to get off his website because those look pretty cool. Oh my gosh. Those are sweet. They're $180 though. All right, let me get off his website. Yeah. Oh, I could have shared my screen. I guess I could have done that. But anyways, um, I don't know, to be honest, where else to get flower horns other than searching maybe your club, local clubs. If anybody knows who sells flower horns, that would be helpful for Jupiter One. Oh, the next post. Sherry Fish says Michael's Fish Room has a big one for sale. Michigan Tropicals has some flower horns with good size. 614fish.com does not have flower horns, but there's the link. And I know I said I need to talk about the website, and I will here in a second. Scrolling down. Okay, I think I'm caught up. Anyways, so website. So I'll probably be taking. I'm not there yet, but I'll probably be taking the website down and making a link to my eBay store. So my sales through the website have slowed down to where I'm like, do I want to keep paying? The goal is to shut down e-commerce eventually, just because like it's costing so much money to maintain all these products, and they just don't sell quick enough. The website eventually will be, if you go to 614fish.com, it'll just be a hyperlink to my eBay site. The eBay site's free. I already sell on eBay. The downside, so there's a couple downsides. One, it's like through the website, people order, like you might order one thing or you might order 20 things. You might order like 4 wonder shells. You might order fish food, some air stones. I don't know what else. And then you get free shipping. Through eBay, most people order one thing. It's always like one item, unless they order 10 of the same thing. Like Hikari Foods, people will order like 10 packs of the first bites. So what we had to do is make everything free shipping. So because it's a pain in the butt when somebody wants to order multiple different things and they want combined shipping. I haven't figured out a good way to like combine shipping through eBay, like super easy. So the easiest thing to do is just make everything free shipping, and then people will be like add to cart, see if sellers other items, add to cart, and buy it because they think it's all free shipping. Free shipping is never free shipping. A company doesn't just throw away stuff for free and make money. So what they do is they figure in the cost of shipping into that product. So let's say you're selling, say this is $8 and normally you ship it. I'm just letting you know this thing probably ships. It's over 16 ounces. I'm guessing it says net weight 10.5 ounces. I feel like it's probably more than that for sure. But let's say as soon as you hit the 16 ounce mark, you can no longer ship first class. You have to go priority. And priority on this is probably like $10, if not more. So normally you would sell this for $8 plus. With eBay, you type in the weight of this in the box, it calculates shipping, or you can do like flat rate $10, right? I usually do flat rate. I estimate that California is the most expensive place for me to ship to. It's California and Washington. I rarely get orders to Hawaii. I've never had an order to Alaska. Hawaii is about the same price as California, I found to ship to. So I usually base stuff off of how much it will cost me to ship to California. Anyways, you charge $10. So somebody's paying 18. Well, what you do is you just sell it for 18, but you put free shipping. And then what happens is And I'm the same way. Is when people go on eBay, they sort price plus shipping cheapest first, and some people will click free shipping as an option. So you automatically gain some views by listing it as free shipping, but really you're still charging shipping. It's just advertising, and people will just they want to see free shipping. Um, Free shipping on my website starts at $50, and that is like got to go away here at some point because shipping is not cheap. And when you sell like $51 worth of stuff at, let's say you make 20%, and then you eat out credit card fee, your hosting fee, and then you still got to pay shipping, like there's no profit. That's why I'm shutting everything down. There's just not enough profit in low volume to do this. It was fun. I've done it for 3 years now, 3 or 4 years. It was a ton of fun, but it's just not profitable at all. Um, so, anyways, what I want to do is to get rid of the rest of the stuff is switch over to eBay, because at least it's not costing me anything to list the stuff on eBay. What sucks is you're competing against other people that are cutthroat on pricing, but it's a much larger audience. So eventually, the 614fish.com, the squirrel, I know, long winded. The whole point of this was 614.com will eventually just be a link to my eBay store. Um, what sucks is I won't be able to do like free shipping for you guys. I'll have to figure out how to do that. Eventually, I'm hoping that eBay, I haven't bought any wholesale stuff in almost a year. I feel like I think the last stuff I bought was like the Northfin foods. Northfin is one of my favorite foods. I was saying with Sarah, the problem with Northfin foods is they're very bland packaging. They're definitely for people with knowledge. It's definitely for like you guys, for enthusiasts. If you had that in a store, Hikari's going to outsell it all day long because Hikari's got the packaging. Like you can see like some of the Hikari stuff up here, and there's some algae. I don't know which way I need to go there, and there's Northfin. Like the Hikari stuff just is packaged way better. Um, Anyways, eBay. Hopefully, once these random products, and you see, the wall is starting to get a little bit bare. Once the rest of the products sell out, I'm hoping that eBay will just be fish sales of stuff I'm breeding, um, and I'll just be selling fish on eBay. Um, it will either be eBay or I mean I have an account on Dan's Fish or Dan's Fish Get Gills. Dan's Fish Get Gills. The thing is, eBay is like 5 million times more traffic as far as people. Everybody in the country knows eBay. Not everybody in the country knows Get Gills. So I'll probably be listing on eBay. And now with the Vienna guppies, I could list on both. I can list some on Get Gills and some on eBay, and then see what sells. Get Gills is nice because those are hobbyists, those are enthusiasts like you guys. So it's nice to sell to enthusiasts. Um, the hardest thing to do is sell to people that just are trying to buy fish and they don't really know, and like they killed the fish like on the first day because they don't have a cycle tank. Luckily, the only thing I've sold on eBay as far as fish are Vienna guppies, and those are, I forget what I have them listed on. I think they're on the website at $40, and on eBay maybe they're $50. eBay charges like 10% fee on everything I sell, so everything's marked up on eBay. But if somebody's buying a pair of guppies for $50, they know what the guppies are. And that order went out to California this week. I don't know the city. I could look up in the order history, but I shipped them to California just in the nick of time. So I shipped them out. It was like Tuesday or Wednesday. And then yesterday we got hit with snow. Or today, like last night, we got snow. So they got shipped out. It was supposed to be in the 70s. Out in California, so I didn't send them with a heat pack. The guppies do really well. They're in breather bags and they're individual. I sent a trio, and there's 3 breather bags, so each fish has its own water, and they should be just fine. I didn't hear anything negative on shipping, so I think everything's doing good. Vaughn are good to see you. Just got home and saw the live notification. Good to see you. Hope the dogs are doing well. Zen Ginger, good to see you. Hope all is doing well. Scroll. Trying to catch up. Lady Melhead, I need some bristlenose. I have super reds. And I did see some baby. They're going to be like brown slash calicos, which are just standard bristlenose out in the fish room. I saw a baby. What tank was it? I think it was the tank that had the rocket guppies. That tank is empty other than plecos. So that's another 29 I can break down. Eventually, I need to sell all the fish tanks. My plan is still to move, and to sell this house having 60 fish tanks in it is not going to help me sell it. I don't know time frame, but the goal is to get rid of all these. I'm not like in a rush, so get rid of all these products and then start breaking down the fish room and selling stuff. Man, my hair's all crazy tonight too. Sell products off in the tanks, and I'm keeping my voice that I'm going to keep this tank for sure. I'll probably end up selling the 75 gallon just because of its size. So yeah, we'll see. I still really want to do the sell my house. Oh, and another reason I'm still motivated to sell the house is a house just sold uh, 5 doors down for like $300,000 in this neighborhood. Like that's in my neighborhood. Like I don't know about your guys' neighborhood. My neighborhood, that's a crap ton of money. And I just checked on what's the it's Zillow, but the other one is is it? I think it's Redfin. It's another like we think your property. Well, they're estimating my property at like 275 now, and it just keeps going up and it's going up. And I'm like, all right, if my house hits $300,000, I'm selling it because that is double what I bought it for. So, yeah, I really want to sell and move into a. This is gonna sound weird, but a fifth wheel camper. In January, I went to. They have a it's Ohio Boat and RV show where they have boats, but it really wasn't that many boats. It was mainly RVs, and RVs are like pull behind travel trailers, fifth wheels, Class A, Bs, and Cs. Of course, I'm a fancy kind of guy, and the one I fell in love with was like an MSRP of like $130,000. Um, it was crazy. I guess I could share my screen and show you it. I think it's the campers are like MSRP 130. They're selling it for like 90. It's still a lot of money, but it was super nice. Actually, I want to show you guys. Let me pull up the website. How do I spell this? Find. Might as well find it all before you guys look at it. But this thing was sweet. I mean, it's stupid expensive. MSRP $132,000. Sale price $96,900. Can I make it any bigger? It's really small. I'm gonna try to share my screen with you guys. I'll take you for a little ride here. I know it's not fish related, but it's life related. William, good to see you. How do I share? Where did it go? Share screen. This one. Okay. It should be up. I know it's expensive, guys, but if we're dreaming, this is what does it still show my face on? Hopefully, you guys can still see my face. But anyways, let me see if I can make it bigger. So it's a fifth wheel. So if you don't know, it connects in the bed of your truck, not to your bumper pole. Anyways, this is like the floor plan, and Me and the girl went and looked at this thing. They had this one at the place, and this is the one that, out of looking at all of these, um, had the most storage. And if you're thinking living in a camper, and it's called full timing, so no longer living in a house, an apartment, living in a camper, full time, which means I'm parking it, and um, the place is my friend's farm. I've done some videos on here of the horses. They have a spot for the camper with hookups. So with power, there's sewer and water. So it'd be basically like a little like house, like what you call like a mobile home, like a single wide trailer house, basically, right? But easily movable with a truck. Not living in like a campground or anything like that. This would be on property at my friend's farm. So, anyways, this is what it looks like, floor plan. And we went through all the bigger trailers because they have like small travel trailers. And, talking to the sales guys are like, we're talking about living this thing full time, like 365 for like 2 years. So, the whole point of this is to live in a trailer on my friend's property with no mortgage, no paying like house insurance. Obviously, I have insurance for the trailer. They have internet, so I don't. They originally told me I could live on their property if I pay for their water filter bill. So they're on a well, but they pay like a monthly fee to. I don't know the company if it's like Culligan or whatever. If you guys are on well, you probably know what I'm talking about. You have the water softener stuff where you got like the pre filters and carbon filters and the salt thing that makes the water soft that pulls the iron and crap out. They pay like a monthly, I don't know if it's like a flat fee, and they come out. I don't think they come out once a month. I don't know how it works, but they pay a monthly fee for the filter stuff for soft water. So, anyways, they said if I pay that bill, I can live there, which I think they told me originally it was like I want to say $300 a month. I don't know. You guys might know better, but let's say it's $300 a month. So my goal was I'm gonna offer them $500 a month. They told me three. I want to give them five, but I look for $500, which is more than they're expecting. Let me hop on your Wi-Fi, which I'm already on their Wi-Fi when I'm out there. Like that's not a big deal, but they'd be helping me out at $500 a month. That's almost a third of what my mortgage is. So I'm saving $1,000, almost $1,000 right there off the rip. Using their internet. My internet here is $100 a month, so that saves me $100. Um, yes, I know I need insurance on the camper. I've already thought of the negatives. I live like 5 minutes from work now. Moving there, it's going to be a half an hour drive to work. It's like 25 minutes ish at night, but it's like 30 in the morning. There's an extra like 5 minutes driving in the morning. So I am adding mileage on my truck. So I know I'll have to buy like a car because my truck's a lease. Once my lease is up, I plan on buying a car anyways, but I'll have to buy like a daily driver car. I do have my Honda that's in the garage that I could potentially drive if I wanted to. It should get really good gas mileage. The downside is it's the easiest way to describe it is it's a race car, but don't think of race cars as fast. It's a race car because it has zero interior. There's a steering wheel and a seat. There's no carpet, no headliner, no trim panels, no door panels. It's all about being lightweight, so it wouldn't be the most fun thing to drive every day. So I've already, taken that into account of I'd have to drive further. Um, but yeah, so anyways, if I lived in it for 1 or 2, well, at least a year, maybe a couple years of saving, even after buying a new car or not a brand new car, but buying let's say a 3-year-old Honda Civic or whatever. Um, Even after that, I could be saving roughly like putting into a savings account like 2 grand a month. I have over in all my bills right now. I spend over 3 grand a month in bills, like between mortgage, my electricity bill. That's another reason I want to kind of get the fish room broken down. Um, Running 60 fish tanks, you'd be surprised at how quickly that electricity bill like builds up. Um, and then in the summer, running AC for the house. I don't like being hot, so the AC runs. I have the AC set to like 74 when I'm at work. When I get home, it's like 72. But yeah, so like not having a gas bill, like if you start thinking about all the bills all the little nickel and dime bills you have, I'd roughly be saving $2,000 a month. Um, and yes, there is depreciation. I saw somebody said depreciation value. Yes, definitely it's going to depreciate. The thing is, if I were to buy a used camper, I'd only want one that's like a year or two old. Um, because campers are not the most well built things. You like this camper that's $132,000 MSRP. When you start driving these things across the country and camping all the time, whether it's like every weekend or once a month or during summer, things start, let's say, falling apart. If I don't want to deal with water leaks and things not working correctly. Do people winterize stuff correctly? Um, I feel better buying it new. Granted, this is like my dream RV camper. I'll show you guys the pictures inside, and you'll be really impressed. It's really nice. Granted, that's half the cost of a house. Well, not in this market. It's a third of the cost of a house. But if I could live on it for a couple of years, live in it for a couple of years, and save 2 grand a month, then my goal is live in it for 2 years ish. Maybe it's a year and a half. Maybe it's 3 years. 2 grand a month. Save it. Buy land. Get utilities and septic put in. That's a lot of money. Getting a septic system put in, getting utilities ran, move the camper onto my own land. I'm paying property taxes, insurance, stuff like that. I'm on my own land. Then I can build. My ultimate goal is a barn dominium is what I want to build, and still saving 2 grand a month after buying property. Property is not cheap, but if I can save 2 grand a month and pay cash for property, um, move the camper onto my own property, keep saving, and then I can build and I have a place to live in while I build. The end goal is a barn dominium. And then eventually, once I have a barn dominium, I can either decide to sell it. Yes, I know I'm going to take a loss on something that's $100,000 after, let's say, 4 years, 5 years. Maybe it's worth, I don't know. Let's just say 30 grand. Maybe it's worth more, maybe it's worth less, but we'll say 30 grand. I can sell it and get 30 grand. Yeah, sure, I lost 70 grand, whatever. Or I could keep it and then go travel the country or whatever. Like in the summer, maybe I can take a 2 week vacation, drive out to, I don't know, Arizona or someplace, and then I have a camper, a really nice camper to take with me. I would need a bigger truck. Uh, my truck would break just looking at this camper. I have a really small truck. This has to be at least a 1 ton, and really a 1 ton dually. Um, but no, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip you guys through the um, pictures and just show you. This is just one on their lot that's the same like model. Um, you can order them with like different color like couches and stuff. But this is the layout, and this is, like I said, this is the one that had the most storage for a couple. So for two people, a lot of these campers are for like families with like bunk beds. Well, when there's two adults and dogs, like we don't need bunk beds, we need storage. So um hopefully you guys can see this. I have it zoomed in because at 100%, this is the size of the picture. These pictures are really small. As I zoom in, the quality's kind of getting worse. um so hopefully you guys get the gist. So this is like the kitchen, and this, I don't know if this is the exact model we sat in. I feel like the one I sat in had like brown seats, which is kind of, I rather have the brown seats than these like, I don't know, these are called like ivory, but has the kitchen island. And granted, guys, like I'm sure people have had issues with campers and like stuff like the slides not working. This thing's going to be set up 100% at a campsite. I'm not traveling the country with it, so it's just, think of this as permanent, basically. Um, there's some things that, some, like every trailer or camper we went to, there was always something we really liked that the other one didn't, and vice versa. um but this is the one that basically fit kind of all of our needs. So these are the two seating. A lot of the campers have like three couches in them. Like, why do we need three couches? Like, we don't. um it's going to be like two of us and some dogs is when we look through this. So even if it's just me and my two dogs, I don't need three couches. And this one only had two couches, which was nice. So this couch right here folds out into a bed, which is cool because if, let's say, my nephews want to come spend the night on the horse farm, they have a place to sleep. This folds out into a bed. Cool. I can appreciate that. These pictures are really terrible. I'm sorry, guys. It's not my fault. There's a TV. Can you guys see my mouse on my screen? I think you can see my mouse. I'm going to use it as a pointer. Maybe you can't see me. Yeah, I think you can. TV here. There's storage behind the TV for like DVDs and stuff. Storage up top. Down here is like the entertainment. This is like a radio and stuff. You would put your like Xbox or DVD player down here, or controllers, and then there's a fireplace. The fireplace is electric, and that's how you can help heat it if you're plugged into the grid, which I will be. Kitchen. I feel like this is different than the one I looked at. The one I looked at, I feel like these cabinets, how these are like the lighter color, I think they all matched in the one I looked at. But it's got an oven, it's propane, which is what I want. I don't want electric. Full microwave. I'm hoping, so I don't know how good these pictures are, but this is the door to come in. I like this. It's a little bench with a place to put your shoes underneath. So that was something that not all of them had, but it's nice, living on a horse farm, be able to put muck boots underneath and not, my work boots for my work or whatever underneath. You can sit here, put boots on, and coat hangers. I liked this, and this is like a brick wall. I really like that. This door is a mini closet. You can put some stuff in there. I don't know if you're going to put very thick stuff in there, but there's the control panels in there. The whole camper is like a smart system where you control like all the lighting and slides. It's all like this touchpad and heating control. It's all in that like closet. I don't know if there's a picture of it. So this is the bedroom. It's a king bed, and that was one of the criteria. It needed to be a king bed. I have a queen now. That I realized if your girlfriend has a dog and you end up with 3 dogs and 2 people on a bed, a queen bed's not big enough. So criteria was a king bed. This one has shelves up here, which I think a lot of the shelf units that we realized that when we went to the RV shows for CPAP machines, which I don't have one or need one, but they have these shelves that are up top for like that stuff. This little black thing right here is USB port, so you can plug your phone in and charge it. I like that. Pretty much they all have that now. It's got reading lights. I feel like the one I looked at had a different headboard. It was like brown leather, maybe. Like I said, this is just one on their website I found. Over here, this is technically the front of the camper. There's like a bench seat with storage underneath and shelves on both sides. Hopefully there's a better picture. Yeah. And then the TV's up here in the corner for the bed. I really like this area. I thought that'd be a cool spot for the dogs to lay. I don't know if my dogs would lay there, but if the dogs would sleep on that and not on the bed, that'd be super cool to free up room. But you can kind of see there's some storage underneath. There's 3 drawers. Pretty much all these RV campers. I'm sorry if I'm losing you guys. This sounds like an RV like ad. I'm not an RV salesman. If you're some reason new to this chat, it's just this is what's going on in my life. But squirrel, RV beds, they're on like a shock. They lift up and there's storage underneath. That's good for like extra blankets or bulky stuff, sleeping bags, whatever. So this is why we like this one. So this is if you were like sitting on the foot of the bed, directly across, you have these 8 dressers and this like countertop. You can plug something in here. I don't know what you would put there. Maybe I don't know. But there's an outlet there. But the 8 drawers of storage that's more than I have now for sure. And then to the left are closets, and this is a slide out. But tons of storage for clothes. Because I think like without a house, you have your winter clothes, your summer clothes. You gotta have everything in the camper. Now there is storage underneath the camper in the bays, so you can rotate out your summer clothes for winter clothes. Like once it's summer, you don't need your winter clothes in the camper, so put them in totes, put them in the storage bays, right? So this is like kind of what sold us on this one was and it's not just this. This right here, there's 2 of these. So you can hang up your dress shirts or dress pants. Hopefully there's a picture of that. I can't. No, there's not. I'm looking down here at the bottom. But this right here, there's I think 2, if not 3 of these sections. There's a ton of this storage. This is one of the better bathrooms out of the ones we looked at. It actually had like a full size residential shower. All the toilets are all these are porcelain toilets. They flush. It's a foot flush is what they call that. There's like no tank on RVs. It's just plumbed in. And it's got dual sinks. So I liked this one the best because it gives you the most counter storage or countertop storage for like her things like makeup and whatever. I have a comb and a toothbrush and a beard trimmer are the 3 things. Um, Sorry guys, I was just getting a text. I got a new smartwatch yesterday, a new used. It's kind of old, but I bought it off my sister yesterday. And so I can get text messages at work. I can just look at my phone and decide if it's important or not. I don't know if you guys can see this if it's on screen. But anyways, just got a text. Squirrel. So this sink, and if you see this pink stuff, that's the like coolant for winterizing. Because it's cold here, they winterize all the pipes and they run it, and then it comes out. I don't know if it's coolant as in like antifreeze that you get in a car. I don't know. I would say no, because coolant in cars is toxic, and these are in drinking lines. So I'm assuming it's non-toxic somehow. I'm guessing it's just got alcohol in it. Alcohol doesn't freeze. You have enough concentration. That'd be an antifreeze, right? I don't know what they use in RVs. Hoping it's non-toxic. If not, I guess you have to flush the system out really well. I don't know how it works. I'm about to sneeze. That's why I'm rubbing my face. I'm trying to like not sneeze. But anyways, most counter space, a lot of them they'll have dual faucets, but it's like one sink basin, or it's just one sink and it's really small. This is actually twice the counter space of my bathroom here. My bathroom is just basically a sink. So it's like this big. There's not much room in my bathroom. And this is the shower. I don't know if it's how easy this is, but there's like a shelf thingy here, and there's a couple shelves further up. I don't know what you call this drain. It's like I call it the hidden drain. I've only seen this in hotels I've been into, and honestly, I just saw it for the first time like a year ago. Maybe it was when I went to Aquashella. It was the first time I went to a hotel. They had this drain. I thought it was really cool how the drain's set up. The drain's underneath this like metal tin. Like the downside of this, I don't know if anybody has this or been to a hotel with it, is I noticed that when the water drips, it drips directly onto that metal and it goes ting, ting, ting. So like when you turn the shower off, you hear this tinging noise for like a minute until it stops dripping. So yeah, maybe it was just that hotel I was at. The shower head's on like a wand thingy majigger, so you can wash your dogs. Be super cool. And glass doors. But this was like a big shower. A lot of them are either small or they're corner with like I don't want to feel cramped. And it's a 2-person shower. We'll just say that. And there's the shelves. So this is outside of the RV. This is a cooktop / fridge, and this is right outside the door. And I can see why people have this for like camping. If you're in a campground, you like doing it with like a bunch of friends, I guess you can cook outside. My friend said that it's good for cooking bacon, so you can cook greasy things outside and not stink up the camper. I don't mind smelling bacon, to be honest, inside a house. It smells good, but I could see like, yeah, let's not get trapped in the camper. So this is right outside the door. This black thing is a mini fridge. This is the grill. So it like folds out and then flops down, and that's where your grill is. This is just like one of the storage bays where you can put, like I said, you can, put your clothes in a tote and slide it in here. These are waterproof. There is a seal on the door. In storage, I don't know, wherever you need to put in storage. I was thinking like winter clothes in the summer and vice versa. Maybe a fish tank, because there's not a whole lot of room inside the camper for fish tanks. But like this 55 acrylic, I could slide in there and keep until I have my own place. This is just another storage. This is in the direct front, and this is where the like hydraulics are for the camper. So this black thing is actually curved. I don't know if you can tell. I can tell because I've seen it in person. But the hydraulic pump for like the stands and stuff are in here. It's kind of like a maintenance or utility closet, but they do give you a box for storage stuff. For I don't know what you put in there, but stuff. And this is all the options and crap it's got, whatever. I wish there were some better pictures of the outside, well, of everything. So, there is an awning out front. So here you can see the pull-out kitchen. So there's the little. This is the door to come in and out. The bedroom, man. There's actually a lot of stuff I got to tell you about that wasn't in here. So this pulls out, and there's an outside TV right here. You can put a TV right here. I don't know if it came with two outdoor TVs. That's maybe for tailgating or campsite stuff. I don't need outdoor TVs, to be honest. I could see like in the summer, like, hey, me and my buddy Josh could be outside watching a football game while the girls are doing horse stuff. But yeah. So, anyways, there's that. But I wish they would show the pantry because it's got kind of a cool wine cooler thingy. It does have washer and dryer hookup, so you can have washer dryer in there. This vanity is like a little desk, and that's where I would probably put this computer, is on that vanity. I was hoping I could show. All right, so you can't really see it, but so this is a pantry. These are two glass doors. They open up, and then drawers slide out, and that's where you put all your canned food, dry goods, whatever. There is storage above the fridge. The fridge is a full residential fridge freezer combo. Down here is like a spice rack style drawer, and this black thing, that's a wine rack. It's like a cooled, I don't know what temperature you keep wine at. I keep wine in my fridge, but it's a wine rack. So I don't know if they're kept at like 40 degrees or 50 degrees. But yeah. And then these stairs are like the worn wood look stairs. But yeah. So anyways, let me hop back into this. How did I do this? Okay, let me get back in the chat. I know it was weird RV commercial. I'm trying to get back to where I was. I think somewhere around here. Basically, cashing out a good investment for awful one, but fun and enjoyment is worth something. Yeah, I mean, I know an RV is like the worst investment I could probably do because I'm sure they depreciate horribly for sure. But the goal is to not buy an RV as far as like what you would normally use an RV for. I'm looking at as moving into a mobile home for a few years while I build my dream home, I guess is the easiest way. The other thing I looked at doing was buying a shed. They sell like pre-made shed here in Ohio. There's the Amish. They build all these sheds. You can get like a 16-foot wide by 40 pre-built shed for fairly cheap. And then I thought about finishing it into like a tiny home. Like 40 by 16 is not really a tiny home anyways. Tiny home would be like half of that. But I thought about doing that, but to do like running water and a toilet, like I'd have to put it on like a foundation to be able to run plumbing under it. And I'm not trying to do a foundation on my friend's farm. An RV is literally the simple thing, and they do delivery. So I don't have a big enough truck to move this. My friend's farm, they have a 1-ton. It's not a dually, but they could totally move this if I needed to. But the RV place said that they do delivery, and it's like 15 minutes from the RV place anyways. You could park it, level it, hook it up with the hoses to their septic and water. The reason why that's there is my friend's mom was staying with them like a year ago and had a camper, so they ran like a heated garden hose for water out there, and electric is right there where the camper would go. The electric honestly is not big enough because this camper takes like a 50 amp service. But that was something I would just pay, and we can do a 50 amp service or whatever. My water softener company comes out about every 3 months to replace the salt crystals and filters. Yeah, I think what they do is they have that like I forget what's called, like when you do it with your gas company when it's like they estimate your bill at, let's say, like 2 grand a year, and you can pay monthly instead of like once a year. Maybe they pay like like every month, but they only come out every 3 months. I don't know. Honestly, the market is way up. If you could sell your house and live with less for a while, but hold on to that bank account when the market inevitably crashes again, you buy another house cheap. Yeah. So my goal is to buy land and build a barn dominium. And right now, land's expensive, houses are super expensive, and houses on land are even more expensive. So I'm hoping that I can buy like undeveloped land, nothing with a house on it. It's not going to be cheap, but even in a couple of years, maybe it'll come down a little bit. I don't feel like the market around here is going to really burst that much because there's just more people than there's housing here in Central Ohio. Um, Ohio has grown like tremendously with tech companies, with like Amazon has like huge warehouses here. Intel is here now. Um, just all these companies are coming in, and it's created so many jobs. There's just not enough living places. And I know, like, I think my town and some other towns like put a code, or I don't know if it's a code or a law, but like no more like apartments. So like they're not building any new apartments because they don't want this. My town decided they don't want any more um what do you call it, like multi family housing or whatever the name of apartments are, because unfortunately when you have apartments it can drive down neighborhood values, or you get people in your area that you don't want, as far as like hoodlum people. I don't know, I lived in apartment before, but I mean, I get it, I'm a homeowner, I don't want my property values going down, but yeah. Remember depreciation value. Yep. The RV's going to tank in value. I bet the day I sign it, it drops 20 grand that day. Cars depreciate, except for right now because the friggin' market. But cars always used to depreciate as soon as you drove them off a lot. But um, no, when we got into fish, we disconnected the water softener. It's no good for aquariums. Yes, my coworker just moved houses and is now on water softener, and he brought in his water for me to test, and the pH was through the roof. It had like no hardness, obviously, to it. It was soft, but the pH was sky high, and that was something I didn't know about water softeners. I thought it'd just be like normal water, just with no TDS. I'm like, cool, just add minerals, but it was like the pH was so high. I was like, I don't know what you're going to keep in this. Um, Maybe like cichlids. I don't know. The pH was so high. I was like, I don't know what to tell you, bud. Putting away that kind of bank is not going to be a bad thing. Get cheap econo bucket for the community. Yeah, I mean, I've always been a Honda fan. I've had a ton of Hondas. My dad worked for Honda. I just know Hondas, and they're good cars. And I could buy a Honda that's 5 years old or something and get really good gas mileage. I mean, you got to think I'm driving a truck now. I probably use a gallon of gas a day. I live 3-ish miles from work, but I drive 3 miles to work, 3 miles home on my lunch break. I come home every day for lunch, eat lunch here, and I let the dogs out. Um, they don't need to go out, but I'm in a habit of letting them out. So I drive roughly 12 miles a day, and um, drive only 3 miles. The truck never really gets warmed up. I do remote start it, which kills my gas mileage, but you figure I probably use a gallon of gas a day. Um, Now I go from 12 miles a day to let's say 40 miles, 40 to 50 miles. I forget how far the farm is from my work, but let's say 50 miles a day. Um, that would be, let's say, 3 gallons of gas a day. So that's a lot, and gas is expensive. But I won't be going home for lunch every day. I'll be packing my lunch. But yeah, I mean, I have a Excel spreadsheet that I was guesstimating mileage, gas prices, wear and tear. I haven't even changed the oil on my truck yet because it hasn't been due. I'll hit a year of having the truck before my oil's due. It's a 1 year, I forget what it is, 7,500 mile oil change interval, and I got like 5,000 miles on it. So I don't put mileage on it now, but that will change, obviously. Yeah. We have no gas. So I've paid as much as 500 in a month for electricity with 22 tanks. Yeah, I mean, I have gas for heat. So in the winter is usually like the best time for me as far as bills because I switch to gas and the AC is not running. So, but gas provider in my area, something changed. I noticed I had one provider, now I have a different provider, but my gas bill doubled. So I used to pay like between 30 and $50 a month in gas for the winter. Now I'm paying $100 in gas a month. I'm like, what is happening? And I noticed the supply company has changed. And I'm like, is that why I'm paying way much, like so much more? But basically, I'm like, all right, $100 for gas a month. Electricity in the summer without fish tanks is usually pretty high for me because I like keeping the house cool. But then you add in the fish room, which right now it's only heated off of the dehumidifier. In the middle of winter, I gotta run the dehumidifier and a heater. Um, but in the summer, I just run the dehumidifier. It keeps it warm. I shut off the air vents so the AC is not going into that room. Um, but in the summer, electricity bills is probably 400 ish. I don't know how that's going to be this year because it seems like all the utilities are costing more money. But usually it's 400 a month. So not having that bill a month, my electricity bill in the summer would pay for my, if you would, my, what would you call that? Like not mortgage, cost of living, like paying rental fee, land rental fee, just right there. And then that doesn't count. Like I have sewer and water and trash. That's like one bill. So the city charges me for water and sewer, which kind of sucks with the fish tanks because all that water doesn't go into the sewer. It usually goes out to the yard in the summer. But whatever, it's not a huge deal. Water is not that expensive. And then trash. That's something I won't. I won't have water or trash bills or sewer bills. Um, I would offer 400 a month, but be open to 500 a month if they ask. Yeah, I mean, I could. It was funny as hell and grabbed the entire conversation and made everyone focus for half a second. I missed what that was about. You're going to have to do that from now on. Good audio or not? I'm so far behind in the chat. I have no idea. I'm 25 minutes behind, so I have no idea what you guys are talking about. So what about sewer hookup? So they're on septic tank, and their septic tank is right where the camper would basically be going. Um, so I looked into it. It's easy to make a. It's just a dump station is what they call it. You basically tee into the PVC pipe, which is right where the camper would go. So I would hook up there. I'd have to look into, can you stay permanently hooked up to the dump, or if in the like in the summer, I don't see why not. In the winter, I'd be afraid of maybe like it freezing above grade. So maybe it's something where you store your waste on your black tank and your gray water tank on the camper, and then dump it once a month or whatever. That way, it's not permanently hooked up in the winter because of freezing. But maybe there's uh, things to do that I don't know about, or maybe since it's not like, I don't know. I'd have to look into that and definitely talk to the RV people. I'm sure they know more about that. like, I don't, what do people do in campgrounds in the winter? I'm assuming they're still hooked up, but maybe you have to disconnect in winter until you're ready to dump. But that'd be something. But in the summer, not worrying about freezing, I would just leave it hooked up. So you flush a toilet, it just goes straight into the septic. I did read that you have to be careful with dumping into a septic. You don't want to overload their system. So maybe, don't wait until the gray tank and black water tank are full. Maybe dump them at half fill levels. The camper does have a level sensor, so I also heard they're not really reliable. But let's say, every other week you dump wherever you have into the septic. So that way you're not overloading it. I'm assuming most of the waste will be gray water, like showers and stuff. Most of my number two business happens at work, if I'm honest. Squirrel, yep. Best part is if you don't like the neighbors, just back the truck up and move it. It's true. I'd have to use the neighbor's truck though. The antifreeze stuff in campers is like a windshield washer fluid. Yeah, so washer fluid, if you guys didn't know, is just it has alcohol in it. Like the washer fluid that you can buy that's like extreme, like -30 protection. You can light it on fire. Um, some race cars use meth injections. What's called would be like methane. Is it methane? I guess it's methane. Meth injection. Um, Washer fluid is the same stuff. Um, if you can find or washer fluid concentrate, a lot of times it's just basically alcohol, um, super concentrated, and you can light it on fire. So alcohol would be, non-toxic that you just flush it out. Where coolant for cars is, I forget what makes it. I don't know if it's propylene glycol and some other glycol something. I don't know. It's toxic. It'll kill you if you drink it. You still want to flush that coolant. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it definitely was pink. It's got to be a non-toxic stuff. I mean, maybe it'll still like kill you if you drink it, but it's not going to be like car antifreeze. Car antifreeze, like, have you guys ever heard of like people killing people's animals? Probably shouldn't say that word. People unaliving people's animals by putting coolant out because it tastes sweet. Um, Coolant is very bad to ingest. That's got a self-leveling system, doesn't it? Yes, it does. It's all remote controlled through that control panel, like in the closet when you open the door. I have to selfishly say I'm sad that 614 Fish is going to go away, as this is the second fish tube channel I started following, and learned from that time that I still do. I mean, it's never going to go fully away. It will still be. I mean, it's still my main channel. I mean, I would love my car channel to take off and provide some. Would that be passive income? Um, Passive income would be sweet. With the car channel, like the car YouTube is so huge that you can potentially, if you try to do it for a living, it'd be cool if I could live in a camper and just do YouTube 24 hours a day, and that would be my job. That'd be super sweet. But just the chances of a YouTube channel taking off to where you can do it for as a job is probably one in a million people make a YouTube channel. But it'd be cool. Um, you know, the whole point of doing the land and barn dominium and a barn dominium in general, having the room to do a huge fish room, is why I've always wanted to do it. It'd be sweet to have a pole barn for the fish tanks. So it's going to be a pause in the hobby for sure. I mean, I'm not doubting that, because when I'm living on the farm, there's not going to be a fish tank other than like if I could set this tank up somewhere in the camper, like I'll have one tank. But it's kind of I feel like it's been coming for like a year now since I decided like a year ago that that's the route I wanted to go. It's just slowly. Like, I'm not rushing selling the house. Like, this is probably the time to sell the house, come spring, but I don't want to sell it or even think about selling it until the house is cleaned out. Because first thing is all the tanks and fish stuff. And then since I moved into a camper, it comes fully furnished. So then it's like, do I get a storage unit for my furniture? I'm like, no, just sell everything. Sell the computer desk, sell the couches. Well, the one couch is ruined because the dogs ripped the armrest fabric from getting in the window. Charlotte now is an attack dog. Whenever she sees something outside, she goes nuts in the window. She used to be the shyest dog. Now she's like, "Hey, look at me! I'm going to eat you," until you come up to the house, and then she's like, "Oh," she's like, "Havana, you get them." But they ripped the fabric on that arm, so that couch is not worth anything. Which sucks because I rarely sit on that couch. But anyways, I probably sell everything like TVs. Like the RV has TVs. Like I can sell my TVs, and it'd probably be like one of those rush things where like, hey, here's a 55-inch TV. Somebody bring me $50 or something, just to clear out. But that's the cool thing is it's less stuff to move and have to worry about. Of course, getting eventually down the road to a barn dominium, then I have to rebuy everything. But it'd be cool to have a new house with new furniture at that point. And a barn dominium, I can make it big enough that I can park the RV inside. And maybe that's like, that's years down the road, but maybe like the builder can build like the shell of the barn dominium, which, barn dominium is living plus a shop basically in one. Um, I can make it big enough to put the RV inside, and then I'm basically inside of a building living until I'm ready to finish the living side of it, right? That's something. But best part is if you let dealership move in and they break it, then they have to fix it. Yeah, I think that they said that they have like a fee of like, because they asked where I was. I was like, "You guys deliver?" Because my truck's not big enough, and they're like, "Well, where are you?" And I was like, I told them where I live, but it's not where I live. It's where the farm is. Like, yeah, I'm in here, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's close." They're like, it's probably just a hookup fee at that point, and I think their hookup fee was like $250, which cool. $250. You guys handle it, and they'll come out and park it, and then they'll have to level it to get it off their truck, so they can basically set the thing up for me. Yeah, I'm sure if I bought a six-figure camper, the salesman would probably drive out. It's only like I said, it's like 10 minutes from the farm. It's not that far. At the same time, happy and excited for SC Aquatic's next stage of life and seeing how excited Steven is about the change. I mean, it's gonna be fun, and I think what's going to be like a nice change is, here at the house it's me and the dogs. So at the farm it's going to be me, the dogs, plus I think they're like what 23 horses, the pigs, they got goats. They have a floof, which is a miniature horse. It's like a little horse. Its name is Floof. Um, Plus my friends. It's Josh and Carrie is their names. If I don't know if you guys know if I've mentioned it, I used to live with them when they used to live down the street from here. Um, I used to live with them before I lived in. I basically moved out of my parents' house when I was younger. I moved out of my parents into their house. Um, Josh, I used to work with at BMW, um, and they had a master bedroom. Their old house was a bi-level, so when you go in the front door, you either go upstairs or downstairs. So it was like 2 stories. The front door was ground level, but you went up or down. So the downstairs was kind of like half in ground ish. But they had two kids that were young, like I'm guessing. I forget how young they were when I moved in. Let's say 4 and 6. 4 and 7. I don't even know how far apart they are. Let's say 4 and 6 ish. So they stayed. Their bedroom was upstairs by theirs. It was 3 bedrooms upstairs, master downstairs. The master was like huge, had a full bath, huge closet, like 2 closets. Well, they didn't use it for anything. They had a different coworker that used to rent that room off of them. He ended up moving to like South Carolina, So that room was open. So I moved out. My parents moved in with them. I think they charged me like $300 a month, and they had a 2-car garage. I got a garage spot for my car, and then they had like a 4-car detached garage, which was like a workshop area. And then we ended up having a big, huge pool. It was a ton of fun. It was uh, probably some of the most fun in my life ever. We had parties and cookouts, and we started with like an above ground pool, then we got a bigger above ground pool that we dug and sunk it into the ground. So it was like half in ground, but it was level with their deck. And we had these volleyball games in the pool, and parties. Like the parties were fun. I mean, I was 20, I don't even know how old I was, 22 ish, 22 ish. So it was a ton of fun. They're kind of, I mean, they're family to me. Oh man, in case they're watching, I don't want to throw their age out. Let's just say they're 5 years older than me. I think they're older. I don't know their age. Uh, they're we'll say they're 5 to 10 years older than me. Uh, and their kids are obviously way younger than me. But I grew up. I grew up. I've known their kid. I started at BMW when they basically had their daughter. And she is, oh my gosh. So their son is like 16, and their daughter, oh, she's had her birthday. How old is she? 13? Maybe 14? 14? I don't know. I'm horrible. Uh, but she calls me like their uncle, and like they're like my little, really they're like my little sister, or little brother. I've known them since they were tiny. So I used to live with them. I lived there for, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, and then Carrie was doing like daycare from home. Like she was running a daycare out of her house, and it was just becoming a little bit much for me with all the kids. And one of my coworkers was moving, and we were best buds too. And he was talking about moving into this townhome that was literally right in front of our work. It was my work. There was a field, and then these townhomes. I'm talking a half a mile from like the garage door to work bay. And I ended up moving in with him into the townhome. We lived there for 2 years. It was all right. Like we had some fun, but it wasn't as much fun as the house was. And electricity, like the heating there was messed up. Our electrical bill, like the first winter, was like $400, and we had it set to like 65 degrees in that house, and we were never there, so like the heat was never on. And we told him, like, why is this electrical bill so freaking high? It was electric heat, and the heat pump was messed up, and it was running like emergency heat like all the time. And I don't know, it was messed up. And like the rent kept going up, and it was getting to the point where I think the rent was going to be like 1,400 a month. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-story townhome with a 2-car attached garage. So I had my motorcycle in there and my car. My roommate had a project car in the garage. We both had 2 vehicles. He had a project car. Actually, he ended up with like 3 vehicles. He had a truck, a project car, and a regular car. I had I had a Civic and a BMW and a motorcycle. But it was like 1,400 a month plus utilities. It was getting expensive. And at that point, the market was normal. So I'm like, for $1,400 a month, like I could just have a house. So instead of re-signing the lease, I went and bought this house. He ended up moving in here with me, and he lived here for like a year, paid me rent, and then he moved out. And this was actually his room. He moved out, and it's just been me since then. So I've been by myself for 6 years now, 6-ish years. So it'd be kind of fun to move back to the ranch and have roommates, but like at least not roommates. Just to hang out with people, like especially being out in the country on the farm, like in the summer, is really nice. Not here in the city, because I live the way the crow flies. I'm probably like a mile and a half. Let me think about this. Mile and a half to 2 miles from the international airport. It's a real busy airport. Um, At night, I can hear the planes. During the day, I can't really hear them because at least their takeoff route is not over my house. But at night, you can hear the jets and stuff. But it's really, there's something about being out in the country at night that's really peaceful, and the sunrise and sunsets out there is really nice. Um, yeah. So I don't know. It'd be fun to hang out with them for a couple years again, um, before we're too old to get into shenanigans. But yeah, I mean, my life goal is to have land, and I guess my dream would be like dream would be 20 acres. Like, I don't want to see my neighbor's house. Growing up, my parents had 15 acres, um, and so I know what that size is like, and I would want at least that, like, dream wise. Would I settle for less? I'd settle down to like 5 acres, but if I'm dreaming, I want at least 20. Or if really dreaming, like 100 acres would be sweet, of woods and stuff. If I had a job where I could work remote and I wasn't tied to a location, I would move out of state. If I was honest, I'd move down south. If I could work from home and make the same money I make now, I would move to like Kentucky or Tennessee. I have family in Tennessee and I have friends in Tennessee. Kentucky has some cheap land. Granted, it's middle of nowhere, kind of like mountainous. But I know when we went on this, we rented a cabin down in Tennessee 2 summers ago. We took horses down there and rode around. I was on Zillow going through Kentucky, and it was like $1,200 an acre. Where up here it's like $10,000 an acre. So and up. So 5 acres starts at 50 grand up here. Starts, and then it goes up. It can be $100,000 for 5 acres. Down there it was like $1,200 an acre. I'm like, if I wanted 10 acres up here, I could get like 10 times as much down there, basically. Like, holy cow. But there's probably barely even electrical in some of these properties. Like, there's nothing. Like, definitely no internet. Like, obviously, no sewer, no gas. No sewer is no problem. I would love to have gas. I like natural gas for heat. Um, but with internet, and that's even the new thing, the Starlink, the satellite thing. I've been watching like YouTube videos of people unboxing their satellite little dish. It's a square, and setting it up, and they're showing the speed test. They're getting like super fast speeds, like over 100 megs down. I pay for a gig here, which I'm going to probably downsize because I don't really need. I was thinking about them, like, I really don't need this much service because it's only me. I'm only like one device streaming at a time. I bought it because of the upload speed for the 4K videos. If I bought the gig down, I got like, it's not a gig up, but it's like 300 to 500 megs up. Um, where before I was on like the 100 meg service, or was it 300 meg, but it was like 5 meg up. So the upload is what I went for. But I'm at the point where I'm like, I can probably downsize and maybe save some money. But yeah, I don't know. It'd be a ton of fun. Hippie John, the fisherman. Good to see you. In Canada, ours doubled also. Random thought for the water softener issue. Aside from going through the water here, if you took tap off before the softener system, you would not have to worry about. Yeah, so I asked him. So one of my coworkers, his old house had water softener, but his like outdoor spigots weren't on the softener, which makes sense. Like, why soften the water that you're going to use outside? So his house, he was able to. So I asked him, I was like, hey, like, has your spigots hard water? And you could just like, I mean, it'd be cool if you had like could add a tap inside the house, but worst case, you go outside, use a bucket. He said no. Like, he looked, the water comes in, hits the softener, and then it goes everywhere in the house. So what really sucks is like anytime you, I guess washing the car would be nice that you got soft water, because soft water you're not going to get water spots. But like, you go to water your plants, you're giving them soft water, which is like there's two things, like the plants want minerals, but two, like you're wasting your soft water filter stuff on outdoor stuff. But um yeah, so his house, he doesn't have that option, or at least not easily. Maybe his basement's finished, so he can't get like. There's got to be a pipe somewhere between the wall and softener that you could technically tap into, but I don't know. Most things double here too. Yeah, my gas bill, it like shocked me because normally my gas bill is like 30 to 40 bucks, and this was like February where we were coming out of like the cold months, or like real cold. Um, and it was like, yeah, it's 100 bucks. I'm like, holy crap! Like most I was expecting was 50 bucks, and it was 100. I'm like, what the heck happened? Property lease, yeah, a lot of foam and hay bales to insulate. If you're talking about the camper, um, this was 20 minutes ago. If you're talking about the camper, skirting, I would do foam boards. I know my friend's mom that was there in a camper did hay bales around the bottom of the camper. Basically, you want to seal off the bottom of the camper to keep air from going underneath and help cool it down. That camper is heated belly. It's got heat underneath to keep your pipes from freezing. We still want to skirt it. Instead of buying like the expensive skirts, I would just buy the foam board. My friends said don't use hay because it ends up getting moisture in it and then gets moldy. Hay bales are super cheap and really good at insulating, especially since they're so thick. But they will get moldy, and also um, they said that you can get mice and stuff that want to make homes in it. And like, I don't want to get like provide mice a place that's super cozy, but I'll probably do foam board, like get 2 inch thick foam board, and it's easy to cut and make a skirt. And then, you know, if the foam boards are pink, then paint them black or something so they, it doesn't look super trashy. But I saw a video where a guy did that and he got the aluminum duct tape, it's like the foil tape, and it was strong enough to last all winter. He said you gotta get quality tape because in the winter the glue, when it gets frozen, can not stick. So you gotta get really good. And he listed what brand tape to get, but they've actually changed it so antifreeze isn't sweet anymore. I mean, maybe some. I mean, I've tasted antifreeze in the last year that's still kind of sweet. I know that the Audi antifreeze changed from like some new. They call it G13 Plus is what we call the coolant, but or G13 Evo maybe. I can honestly say I haven't tasted it, so I don't know. The money you pay to store things add up by all of a sudden, then you could buy everything new. Yeah, for sure. The only thing I could think of as far as storage that would make sense in my case would be to not pay for like one of the self storage units, but to actually buy a metal shipping container, and not like the full. I mean, I guess you could get a full size. So we use the metal shipping containers at work for storage. I think granted they're probably more expensive now because of everything, but they were like 3,500 bucks to buy one, and they were delivered for that amount, I believe. They're they're semi truck length, so I think they're like 53 feet long, 8 feet tall. I don't know how wide 8 feet wide. Excuse me. Um, 3,500 bucks, and you're like, well, why would you spend that much money when you get a storage unit for a year for 100 bucks a month or whatever? I think about like long term. I'm going to have it for at least a couple years. The thing is, once I have my own property, I can have it transported to the new property and use it for storage there. And I would definitely would rather buy the metal one. It's going to last way longer than a wooden shed. And a wooden shed, moving from like my friend's farm to the house, like that's going to be probably more trouble than just to have a semi grab the shipping container and take it. I probably wouldn't get the 40-foot one. They sell the half size ones. They're 20 feet long. So it'd basically be like a big shed, like 20-foot long shed, 8 by 8, by 20. Get one of those, and it'd be waterproof. It's steel. It's going to last. With all those sheds, they all need painted, so I had to take a afternoon and get a couple gallons of Rust-Oleum paint and paint them. Grind off any rust if there's any rust, but that'd be the way I would go: is get a shipping container, plop it on my friend's farm, and I could store stuff in there. But I mean, really, the only storing stuff I can think of, like, let's say if I'm moving, I'm selling all the big stuff out of my house, like furniture. This desk is really nice, but I don't think it's nice that I would want to sit on this desk for 4 years until I could possibly use it again. So I'd probably sell it, and this thing's solid wood and it's heavy as shit. So I probably sell this and furniture, but really, other than that, it's like the small stuff that I wouldn't sell and I wouldn't need to sell, like kitchen stuff, like pots, pans, like that would all go into the camper because I would still need that stuff. But the stuff that I wouldn't want to sell, that I would want to keep for sure, would be my automotive stuff. So the tools in my garage. Um, Honestly, the things outside in the shed, like the push mower and like yard stuff, I probably just sell that stuff. Like I don't need a push mower or like a weed whacker living on the farm for a couple of years. And even if I bought property, I probably, push mower, I'll need like a tractor at that point. Push mower, obviously, like for fine cutting around at like a house eventually. But like you said, like how much can you buy a new push mower for? A few $100? Like just buy a new one at that point. I could sell it for $40 or whatever. I don't think you can get much money out of a used push mower. It's a nice one, like it works self propelled or whatever, but I don't think they hold value at all. Um, but yeah, as far as furniture, I would just sell everything. Wait until KG moves. They're getting Starlink, and they aren't even sure if they'll be able to stream anymore. Um, they should be able to stream with Starlink. So the question is, will they be able to stream like 4K upload? Which I don't even know if YouTube does 4K upload. StreamYard does high def, which I think is still only 1080p, but you got to pay for it. Um, OBS software, I think, will let you output 4K, but I don't know if YouTube itself will let you do a 4K upload. Starlink speed. Trying to find that one speed test of the person I saw the other day. Trying to go through my history. This one shows 160 megs down and 23 megs upload, and that right there would be definitely enough to stream for sure. I guess it depends on where you're at. Most of the uploads are 100 to 200 megs. There's been a few of these uploads I've seen go over like pretty freaking quick, but they're actually not even in the United States. Like here's one, Lisbon, 384 megs down. Like that's, you could 4K stream multiple TVs on that download, and it's got 55 meg upload. Actually, I'm going to share my screen. We'll do a speed test while I'm streaming to see where are we at? Share screen. This one, share. Okay. Speed test. Let's see what I'm getting while I'm actually streaming. So 700-ish down and 55 up. So right now, this is taxing the system because it's streaming right now to it's StreamYard to YouTube, but I'm also running a speed test, which is I mean, it's not super taxing the system, but that's 53 megs upload. It's streaming just fine. Granted, the video quality looks like crap, but that's not me. That's StreamYard because I don't pay for their high def service. I used to, like a couple of years ago when I used StreamYard, but um, yeah. My friend has storage containers. He got them for 2,000 each 7 years ago. He re-rents them out of storage units. Some are nice. Yeah, so we have them at work. When we were like our internet sales, or not internet sales, well, it's part of internet, but our wholesale for parts like went up 60% in the last like year or two. We ran out of storage space for like wholesales, like body parts. Like body shops are buying bumpers and hoods and fenders and headlights and suspension parts. They're bulky things, so they end up buying these shipping containers. And I think I thought like $3,000 or $3,500 delivered. And then they pay. I don't know if they pay our maintenance guy. Our company's got like 14 dealerships, and we have like maintenance guys that maintenance all of them. So they submit a ticket, and like, hey, I need this done. They come out eventually. So I don't know if they had them paint it or if they had they paid a painter company come in, but I don't know if they sprayed them or they rolled them, but they just paint them to match the building. It's like a tan color. And then they ran an electrical line out to them and put a light bulb inside so that way they could see in there. But that's it. Super convenient. I really like shipping containers. I've seen shipping container homes be kind of cool, but I would only do that if I had my own property. But the whole camper thing, that's just it's an immediate thing. I could sell my house, right? And then immediately have somewhere to live. Because it's not like I have $100,000 sitting here where I can go buy an RV and then it's ready for me to sell. It's kind of one of those things where I got to sell the house, get the profits, and then immediately buy a camper and live somewhere. It's actually probably going to be sell my house and then probably have to sleep on my friend's couch for a few days until I, have the money in my account and can go to the RV place. And I probably, to be honest, I don't know how much money I'll have profit after. I'll be debt free for sure. And then let's say I'm gonna just throw out. We'll just say I make 100 grand after paying off my debts. I have 100 grand in my bank account. We'll just say that. I don't know. Debt free, 100 grand in my savings. I could go buy that camper with cash and be done, and then just start saving money. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is finance it, but not for $100,000. They list on their website. I think their financing's crazy. It's like, oh yeah, we finance you for 10 years, but it's at like 6% or something like that. But let's say I put 50 grand down. I cut that trailer in half, and then I finance 50 for 3% or whatever. I don't know what the percentages I can get, but let's just say it's 3%. It says 6%. It's half. And then I have a monthly payment of whatever that ends up being. Let's say it's, I don't know what their terms are, because I know on RVs their terms can be like super crazy long, like 15 years or 20 years or whatever. But let's just say I'm paying $500 a month for the camper. I'm still saving so much money. But the point is, I'd rather pay $500 a month and pay interest. I'd rather pay interest but have 50 grand in my savings than have nothing in my savings. I mean, honestly, I could put 75 grand down and have 25 grand. I would still feel better, but I could put 50 grand down, finance the rest, take that other 50 grand, take 15 of that and buy like a decent car that's older but decent, like some Honda Civic or an Accord, for 15 grand, which I'm trying to think. I don't know how much Hondas are new. I think Civics are still like in the 20s, like 24 grand, 25 grand. It doesn't have to be crazy. It just needs to go. So for 15 grand, I could probably get one that's like 5 years old or maybe newer. I don't know. And still have, the whole goal is to like be debt free, but still have cash in my savings for whatever things pop up. I mean, I guess debt free, technically, if you finance the camper at half, you're still in debt, but all my other debts will be gone. I don't know. To be debt free is just really exciting to me. I don't know. But yeah, so a metal storage container, like a small 20-foot one, would be ideal for my automotive stuff, my car parts and wheels and tires, because I'll still have the race car Civic. Um, and a 20-foot storage container I could use as a garage. I could park the Civic in there and still put my car parts in there, and then like lock it up. And then when it's time to finally get my own property, I can have it moved to the next property and um, have lockable storage there, which will be big until a barn dominium is built. So yeah, and the barn dominium, I mean, that'd be kind of the thing to think about is I could just have a pole barn built initially and have it septic put in power, and then put the RV inside the pole barn and live in that for a year or something. Keep saving money, and then I'm like, all right, I have a ton of money saved up. I can either it'd be cool to like build my own, like build out the interior myself. Like that'd be fun. But to be honest, like that's a lot of work. If I'm working full time, like when am I going to do that? I mean, I guess I do it at night, but that's a lot of work. But if I'm saving all this money, I could just pay a contractor. Like, look, here's the blueprints. This is what I want. Build it, and cool. The shell's there. You got to finish the interior. So yeah. Anyways, I don't know what time is it. 8:30. Holy shit! We've been going for 2 hours now. See, we start talking about stuff that like interests me. I'm like super talkative. It's this is why I don't. I don't want to make it sound negative, but this is why I don't stream every week now, because I really felt like when I was streaming every week, I just didn't have anything to talk about. And it just felt, I don't want to say boring, but it's just like I like being able to talk about something that like piques my interest. And with the fish stuff, there wasn't really anything new to talk about. The random, like, hey, I got babies in here now, and like, hey, I got the orange laser babies, but I didn't want to just sit there and be like reading chats all night long. I like talking. I like squirreling. But yeah, so 2 hours later, yeah, Zen, I don't know if you're still here, Zen, but where's KG? I haven't watched streams much. I get notifications about Aquarium Co-op all the time with like their member stuff. But where is KG moving to? Because I know they're in Virginia or West Virginia now. But where's KG moving to? Because I know like I don't follow. I mean, I follow fish people. I don't watch videos. I mean, I haven't seen an Ohio fish rescue video in a very long time. I'm not sure what's going on up there right now. Josh talks to me every once in a while. He messaged me last week about building some stands for a project that they got going on, but right now I can't take that on. I got too much stuff going on. The main reason I can't take it on is because all the old OFR stands that I built like 2 summers ago, I did at work in the shop. Well, we're in a new shop now. It's so clean and nice. I won't be able to build those stands in there because it's so nice and clean that like heavy fabrication like that, like cutting using chop saws and cutting steel, like it makes a mess, and welding and smoky and dirty. Like it's a brand new building. We've been in there 3 months now. They're still very strict about keeping it clean, which I'm totally for. It's really nice being in a clean shop. Um, so I can't build the stands in there. I just can't, and I don't have room in my garage to do it. He did say that like they would probably have to be built up there because of the size of them. Um, but that's just something I'm not trying to get into. To be honest, I don't have the supplies right now. My welding tank is actually out at the horse farm and it's empty, so it had to get refilled, and I had to go get it, and it's just too much. I told him I couldn't do it, but they're moving to North Carolina. Oh, okay. So originally I looked over and I read that. I thought it said North California. I'm like, why would they move to California? But North Carolina, that'd be nice. Do you know what the reason is they're moving? I'm just curious. Carolinas, I would love to be in the Carolinas too. Tennessee, like Kentucky, is because of cheap land. Tennessee, because I would prefer to be further south in Kentucky. Kentucky is literally because of the land. I don't know if anybody that's in here is from Kentucky, but I would move to Kentucky because of the price. I would 100% prefer Tennessee over Kentucky. I have family down by like I think it's Cleveland, Tennessee, and I have a good friend that lives outside of Nashville. Um, everybody says Florida. Florida's not like my thing. I'm a big fluffy guy. Being hot is not my thing. My parents are in Florida right now. It's hot down there. I honestly I haven't even visited them. I've never been to their house in Florida, to be honest. It's I'm very particular in my vacation time with spending it. I get 2 weeks a year, which is 10 days. It's not like 14 days. I get 10 days a year for vacation. So um, I tried to go 2 years ago. Wow, it's been 2 years. So it was like 2 years ago, like this month, that the whole lockdown thing started happening around here. And I was supposed to go to Florida to visit them for like a long weekend. I think it was like a whole maybe fly out Friday, come back Monday type deal. Booked a um, plane ticket and everything, and then we were going into lockdowns. And I was afraid it was the whole kickoff of all the COVID stuff. I was afraid that I was going to fly to Florida and then not be able to come back because I didn't know how serious it was because it was brand new at the point at that time. Um, so I didn't go, and I got I didn't get refunded my ticket, but they were like, "We're letting you reuse your ticket up until so and so." But it was like 6 months later, and I still didn't use it, so I ended up losing that money. I don't know how much it was. I think it was like I don't know $300 or something. So I ended up losing that. Um, March 17th through 19th, 2020, almost 2 years. Yeah. So the way I remember it is, I was actually off roading with our four wheelers down in southern Ohio with a bunch of buddies, and we didn't know anything about the lockdown at all. Haley, Oddball Aquatics, called me. She was driving through Ohio, and I mean, we're out in the holler, like there's no internet cell reception. So we were done for the day, covered in mud, loaded up in the truck. I'm driving back, get cell reception, and I start getting the text messages. Like when you finally get reception back, all the messages start coming through. So I start getting text messages, and then I had some from Haley, and then she just so happened to call me. And she's like, "Am I going to get stuck in Ohio?" Blah, blah. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "It's on the radio that the governor is going to shut down Ohio, like travel." I'm like, "Well, I don't even know what you're talking about." She's like, "Because of the COVID thing." I'm like, to us then, COVID wasn't anything. It was like, "Yo, people are sick with the flu." Um, they were blowing it up, but not like super crazy yet. So we turned on the radio in the truck. I never, out there, like there's no radio. So we turned on the radio, found a station. They were talking about locking down the state. I'm like, well, anyways, you guys know how this goes. A couple weeks ago, I got the, like memories on Facebook, like on this day. And it was pictures of us off roading. I'm like, hey, I remember that day because that's when we found out we were getting locked down. And that was the start of all the horrible crap. 2020 was like the worst year for all the technicians at our dealership. Somehow we had like record months, they said, but every tech lost money in 2020 and 2021. 2020 was the worst year I've ever worked as far as my salary or my like gross income. 2020 hurt a lot. 2021 hurt a lot. This year's been good. This year's been rebounded. Um, the last three pays in a row have been like some of the highest I've ever had, ever. Not the highest I've had, but like highest back to back to back for sure. So I'm hoping I keep that going for as long as possible. Um, it's nice. It's nice making money again finally. But 2020 was shitty. I mean, you guys know it was shitty all around. So yeah, but 2 years ago, time's flying, I guess. So, oh, the outdoor pond. I looked over in the screen. I could see a corner of the outdoor pond. The outdoor pond is still set up. I was going to tear it down for winter. I drained it. There's no fish in it. There's probably a foot of water in it because it filled up because of rain. But I never fully got rid of it, so it's still sitting there. So probably I'll have an outdoor pond again. I don't. I shouldn't be putting fish in it because if I want to move eventually, I need less and less stuff. But I feel like if I have a pond that's sitting there with water and it's green water, it's going to have seed shrimp and everything in it. It's going to be great for fish. I'll probably end up putting fish out there. I kind of want to move the giant Danios out there because if I can get them to breed out in the pond, those fish are awesome. Giant Danios, I said before, they're like rainbow fish. They're like a poor man's rainbow fish. They got a cool pattern on them. They're not like colorful, but they look like rainbows. They super active. They're fun. Um, but yeah, a lot of places had record months, but it was from wholesaling excess inventory. So the salespeople wouldn't make money, but the company would. Yeah, I mean, they said, I know, like our boss, they were pushing for a strong March because they said, like, I think they said March of last year was like our record month ever. I'm like, that's weird because it was like the last 2 years have been the worst for me. Like huge pay cut, basically, like no hours. And talking like other people in the shop, they're like, yeah, like last year or two have been horrible. So like, how are we turning record numbers as a shop when all the techs are down on money? Like, how does that work? The one thing I can think of is like maybe we had like an extra tech and like his low hours is just enough to put us as a record because we were steamrolling really well before COVID. Like we were like record month, record month, record month. And then COVID hit. And then like technician wise, we're not records, but somehow the business was. Um, and it's not wholesale. So wholesale, like parts has their numbers they hit every month. Service has our number. So it's what we sell in service plus labor is what we base off. It's not the wholesale side. That's separate. Um, but yeah, but this month, the past 3 pays, which would be 6 weeks ish, our pay is the 15th and 31st, basically. Um, so roughly every 2 weeks. Some months are shorter than the others, but last 3 paychecks have been rocking. So um, I'm hoping this pay is not. I'm not feeling good as far as how it started because I've had some problem cars. I ate up a bunch of my time trying to diagnose them. I spent a lot of time on a newer A8 trying to figure out why I would get an airbag light, and it would happen like every time I drove the car. But when I would go to try to diagnose it, it said it wasn't a present fault, so it wasn't like super easy to figure out what was going on. But I figured it out. It was a wire that was bad inside of the seat, but it wasn't showing its ugly face while I was testing everything. I checked the wiring from point to point, and it checked out good. It showed that I had good continuity from point to point, no opens, no shorts, no anything. But randomly driving, what was happening is the wire was short against the seat frame. So when you drove, it would just rub just right to set off the airbag light. But when you would stop, it would be fine. And when I was testing it, it showed up fine. So it was like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I mean, I know the system, and part of the diagnosis is this component's faulting. It's this component, the wiring to here. It's a component in the seat. It's actually the headrest. In an accident, the headrest, there's a pyrotechnic. So when you get rear-ended, you get whiplash. Your head goes back. Well, on the Audis, not I don't think they all have it, but the nicer ones, the higher end ones, the A8 for sure, there's a pyrotechnic, which is a little explosive device, and the headrest is spring loaded. And what it does is when you get rear-ended, it shoots the headrest forward. Now it seems violent when it goes off, but in an accident you don't know it. So what it does is while you're driving, your headrest is here, and it knows how far your seat's tilted. So it knows if your head's already like if your seat's all the way up, it knows your head's going to be closer to the headrest. Like it knows it. So there's criteria for it to go off. But what it does in an accident, if your seat's tilted, it goes off. A little charge goes off, and it's spring loaded, and basically the headrest comes forward. It doesn't hit you in the back of the head; it just comes forward, so your head doesn't go as far back. Because if your headrest is back here, your range of motion is way higher, so it prevents whiplash. Or it's supposed to help lessen whiplash. It's just a safety thing. Anyways, that little pyrotechnic was faulting for short, so it could be that. It could be the wiring. It goes from there through the headrest into the seat. There's a connector in the floor where the seat plugs into the floor, so it could be there. And then from there, it's wiring to the airbag control unit. So it's the control unit, the part, or the wiring. So that's the system I had to figure out. And basically, the way I ended up figuring out was I made a harness that I was able to plug in the driver's seat into the passenger side and vice versa. And I drove the car. And what ended up happening is the airbag light came on, and when I checked the fault, it said it was the passenger seat that was faulted. And because I crisscrossed them, I couldn't physically swap the seats. They don't bolt in like that. So I had to make a whole new wiring harness side to side. But basically, since I knew that basically the fault followed the seat, so I knew it was in the seat and not in the floor of the car or the control unit. It showed, hey, it's a passenger side now. So now I knew, hey, the passenger seat fault is because the driver's seat's technically over there. So now I knew it was in the driver's seat. The wiring checked out, so I replaced the little igniter. Fault came back. So it wasn't the igniter. So I did put a part in it. I didn't fix it, but it wasn't the igniter. And then finally I was like, well, it's not the connector here. It's not the connector there. So it's something in the seat. And those seats have so much crap in them. Their air cushion adjustments for like 3 different lumbars and sides, and there's tubes everywhere. I couldn't visually find the defect in the wire myself. So what we do is call an overlay. I just ran a whole new wire. So I overlaid. It's called overlaying the seat. So I put a new pin at each end and a new wire. It's like a new seat harness without having to do like the whole seat harness. That fixed it. So I drove it a bunch. Car's fixed. Customer's happy. Their airbag light's no longer an issue. But yeah. And squirrel. I don't even know where I was going with that conversation. To be honest, we're talking about, I don't know, squirrel. Yeah. So, anyways, I see Bunyan's back. He said his mom called. He's way behind in the stream, but we were talking about. Oh, that's it, squirrel. So we were talking about hours. This pay. So that started off. That was like a Thursday, Friday car. I probably had like 6 hours into that car, and I'll probably get paid for like an hour and a half of that. It's warranty, so that's why. If it was customer pay, I'd be like, look, I can tell the customer I gotta check this. I need this much time to do this, and it's like something I had 6 hours into. Then I'd be like, do you want to pay me? With that is you start like, you know, you need to pay me 3 hours, and I'll see where we're at after 3 hours of checking this, and whatnot. Warranty, it's a whole different story. So a warranty doesn't just like, oh, if I have 20 hours in car, it's not like Audi's like, here's 20 hours worth of pay. It doesn't work like that. They pay you for what you did as far as replaced. I replace that igniter. That igniter might pay me, everything's in tenths of an hour. So there's 10 tenths. So a full hour is 10 units. So there's a tenth of a unit. One unit is an hour of pay. So let's say you get paid $10 an hour. So you get paid 1 unit, that's $10. Anyways, that igniter might pay a half an hour, 5 units, or 0.5. Sorry, I'm making this way too confusing. It might pay me a half an hour to replace it. Problem was, so I get paid for that, but all the wiring checks, I might be able to get warranty time of an hour or a couple hours. Our warranty administrator might be able to get me a couple hours, but I won't get the 6 hours out of it. But that's just how automotive techs work. That's a dealership thing. So Jiffy Lubes and those places, they don't have They don't work for warranty. They don't work for a company like a brand. They don't work for Audi or Honda. So they get paid whatever they charge to the customer. It's called customer pay. That's what they get paid. The thing you gotta watch out for quick lube places is I don't want to say they all do it. A lot of their techs or mechanics they're not trained on your specific vehicle. So a technician is somebody that's trained. I'm a technician. I'm trained by Audi to work on Audis. A Honda technician is trained by Honda to work on Hondas. A mechanic is somebody that can fix a car, like replace parts, but they're not necessarily trained specifically on a brand. So they're mechanics versus like a tech. Mechanic's a very general term of somebody that works on a car. You could be like an airplane mechanic, really, too. Anyways, quick lube places are usually underpaid. They might be paid like $10 an hour to change your oil. They get bonuses if they sell you stuff like those brake fluid flushes and those coolant flushes and air filters and stuff. Always go off of what the manufacturer recommends, or if they have a reason. Like, hey, we took your air filter out, and they show you, like, this thing is so dirty. Like, you've been off-roading your Jeep. You need a new one. Okay, cool. I worked with a guy at BMW that when he was going through tech school, worked at a transmission place. Was it transmission place? Some sort of quick lube place, and would get yelled at for not upselling flushes. And he actually quit because he was getting in trouble because he had a car that was like a year old and he didn't upsell a power steering flush. I can tell you from experience. I worked for BMW for 10 years and Audi now for over 5 years. So 15 years as a dealer tech. Neither of those manufacturers recommend a power steering flush. The only time I've ever recommended a power steering flush is when a power steering component breaks. So your power steering pump breaks, then we flush it to make sure there's no metal in it. But as far as hey, like, let's flush it. No, it's not a thing on BMW or Audi, just so you know. Maybe some other dealer or some other brand recommends it. Like, in your maintenance log, it might say like every 5 years. BMW and Audi, I know for a fact, are not one of them. BMW used to recommend you flush your coolant every 2 years. It was in the maintenance book every 2 years, regardless of mileage, flush your coolant, get it out, put new in. That ended up going away because they went to a lifetime fluid. And lifetime doesn't mean the life of the vehicle. I think they define lifetime as like 100,000 miles or something like that. But they went to a lifetime fluid. Audi was the same way. Lifetime fluid, no recommended coolant changes until they got into hybrid electric cars. Electric cars, they found out, and this is new, when they came out, there wasn't an interval. Now there is. Coolant on electric vehicles degrades quicker. Something with the coolant in the high voltage components, the high voltage makes the coolant break down. So we now have intervals that we have to flush the coolant. Audi pays us. You don't pay us. We pay under warranty. They pay us to do that if you have the service care package. If Audi's paying out of their pocket for us to do it, then it needs to be done. That's the easiest way. If a manufacturer will pay us to do it, then it needs to be done. So on the electric cars, like the AC compressors ran off electricity, and it's got coolant going to it. There's coolers for high voltage components like the battery packs and the electric motors. But apparently the coolant somehow is affected by the high voltage and it breaks down and it has to be replaced. And I know we had a car, a technician had a car a few months ago that they weren't getting heat in the car. It would randomly be hot and then it would just not be hot. And I guess the end fix, we thought it was an issue with coolant flow. It was an all electric car. We thought it was an electric coolant flow issue. Like it wasn't pumping the coolant to the interior of the car. The thing that ended up fixing was he did a coolant replacement. He flushed the coolant, put new coolant, and then all of a sudden it was working. So he thought, from hearing that, you're like, oh, maybe it had an air bubble. He had bled the system like so many times. And finally replacing it fixed it. So we think it does the high voltage. We're not engineers. We're just speculating. We think that the high voltage somehow is breaking down the coolant to where it doesn't transfer heat very well, is our guess. But yeah. Anyways, now we are at 2.5 hours on this stream and people are still here. It's crazy. I'm gonna try to end this. I tried to end it like half an hour ago and then I squirreled. It's 9 o'clock. I need to go finish laundry and take a shower and all that fun stuff. Anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out. 2.5 hour live stream. It's been a long time since I've done one of those. I don't know if I missed any. I did miss chats. Oh my gosh. Hang on. Where? Why? The chat in StreamYard is not updated, but the chat over here is way updated. Let me scroll back real quick. I don't know what happened. Let me see. I'm trying to make sure I didn't like miss questions or anything, but I don't. It's not really. It hasn't been that fishy of a live stream, so I don't think there's been questions. Matt says, "Thanks, bud. Miss your lives." I mean, I'm still gonna do them. It's just kind of random. Thanks, mods, lurkers, and chat. Stay safe, everyone. Absolutely. Thanks, Shayfish. Are your service numbers based on total dollar amounts like commission or by a number of customers? It's not number of it's by total money of labor and sales put together. So let's say we do $500,000 a month in parts and labor. But parts and labor, it's parts that we through the actual shop do. It's not parts that are sold online to body shops wholesale. That we call that wholesale, online and body shops. Walking customers, none of that counts. It's only stuff that is through the shop. So like if you bought an oil change, it counts that oil and filter and then the labor. I don't know how much we do now. It used to be back in the day doing $100,000 a month was good. And then it was $200,000. Then it was $250,000. I don't know where we're at. I mean, I could ask them, but it's just numbers. To me, it doesn't matter because we could have a record month and I could have the worst pay I've ever had, which is like the whole 2020. We had record months, but it was the worst pay I've ever had. Oh, what did I just hit? Hit enter and stuff's popping up. So yeah, I don't. It's yeah. I think I saw something from Matt, but I lost it. He said something about if I answered his question, but now I don't even see the question. Or I don't even see him. Oh, sorry, I dozed off for a bit while I was half asleep, Land. Did you answer my question? I don't know what your question was. Let me scroll up and see if I can find you answer or asking a question. Because I didn't even know this one. But I want to know. I don't. Okay. I see the question now. So, why is it not? Oh, it's because I'm not signed into. You guys are tagging me and stuff, but I'm signed into the Beater Box Garage channel on YouTube, so I'm not seeing it highlighted. That's my bad. I'll have to sign into my other account. But Matt said at SEO Clocks, how many baby brilliant bristle nose you counting now? My two are getting big and looking for some tank mates. At once I counted 8. I don't know if there's more, but I know for sure there's at least 8. And there's one right here. I don't know if you can see him moving. I know the quality sucks. So there's one right there. There's one right here. There's one right there. So there's 3 right here. And that's not even the big one. Oh, there's a big one. So there's 4 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just right here on the front glass. This guy's pretty big. He's makes me excited. And it's fun because I just sit here. It's so jungly that you have to really look in between all the leaves. But yeah, there's 4 babies right here on the front. I'm gonna look because a lot of times they like this front plant for whatever reason. There's a couple baby super reds. God, this he's pretty big. There's actually another one right here, but I don't think it's a brilliant bristle nose. I think this one might be a super red. He might be a super. Oh wait, we're switching back to the other camera. Where's my mouse? Make this one big. Make this big. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3. So this one's kind of hard. He's right there. 4. There's the adult in the background, but there's 4. And there's this guy, but I think that might be a super red. There's a super red. There's the brilliant for sure. So there's 4 right there. Oh, there's 5. I can't zoom in on this phone, but that's 5. I mean, that's 5 brilliants that I see right in front of me, plus a Charlotte. So, I mean, being that there's 5 right here, and I know there's 8, there's possibly more. But the whole just let the algae go nuts has been the move. I'm gonna switch you guys back. Letting the algae go crazy and be an ugly tank has been the move for these guys. That's what they like. I mean, I guess the words it's called a dirty tank, maybe, but that was the move. Hopefully, the audio has been good this whole time. Oh, so I see 2 more. Oh my gosh, there's 2 together in the back. So that makes what, 7? I wish I could zoom. Where'd they go? So where's my finger? Like where my fingertip is? I'm looking at the computer screen. It's way easier seeing them. Can you see their tails moving? Right there. See them? Oh yeah. So there's 2 right there. So I mean it's literally like looking in a jungle. Of course there's one right there. So basically when I find them, you just basically have to look for movement. The brilliants aren't too bad because they're so colorful. Even as babies, they're stunning, right? As babies, but there's 2 back there. So just here on this live stream, we've counted 7, and the most I've counted at once is 8. So right now I know there's 7 in there for sure. At minimum, I mean that's just in this center of this tank. Like who knows what's over on the sides? They tend to be in the middle more, but you never know. And this is what happens. I end up staring at this tank for like an hour. It's definitely the best tank to stare at for sure. It's definitely, I don't even want to say it's the ugliest thing because there's something beautiful about it with all the life that's in there. But all right, I think Charlotte is saying that I need to go spend time with her. So yeah. Go on. All right, I don't know where I'm at. Sell me a trio. I will sell you as many as you want. But they're looking good. I should try to get them. I wish like you could power feed them and get them huge, because if they were like this big, I could take them to my local fish store and probably sell them to them for a shit ton, because they have some expensive plecos that are not rare like these guys. Oh, I just realized that's Mike that said that. I was thinking I was talking to Matt. But yeah, Mike, if you want to buy a trio of them, I will sell them. They're doing good. Yeah. All right, guys, I gotta get out of here. It's been 2.5 hours. I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I don't know when I'll see you again, but I'll see you guys. Thanks so much for the support as always. And Charlotte says bye. Pretty sure. But I'll see you guys. Thanks so much.